thing is a kale plant. And the trick of kale is you want it to be mature, but you want to beat the birds and the bugs. So sometimes that's a trick. Because, for example, this green pod, this one is not ready to go. This, on the other hand, it's been stripped out. Birds already got that one. So you want one that's dry, but it's dry. And there you see, we did not beat the bugs. You see, there's nothing in it but a little wad. Okay, the aphids got in there and they sucked all the juice out of the developing seed. Okay, but the thing about birds and bees is that they do not pick clean. So just take a dry branch of kale and squish it, and you will get, of that, you can see, you get quite a bit of good seed. The big fat round ones, that's the ones you want. The little ones are actually dead seed that had the bugs have sucked the juice out of. But, you know, there's still, one kale plant produces a huge amount of seed. There's plenty. And I collect heirloom kales. So these are the heirloom seeds, or the seeds that have been treasured by backyard gardeners. And very often they're treasured for backyard gardeners precisely because they have characteristics that make them completely unreasonable for cultivation. For example, they have a long production period. That's exactly what you want for growing your own stuff. And exactly what a commercial grower who wants everything ready at the same time does not want. Or heirloom broccoli, which has good side shoot production. You cut the main head and you continue to get smaller but perfectly delicious broccoli shoots over a long period of time. And you keep doing it until they get really skinny. That's behavior that is not appreciated in a commercial operation, but is very valuable for the home grower. And that means that most of the people who have saved and worked on these species for a long time were actually people who were working at home. And it's just been in the last 10, 20 years that the heirloom varieties have started to get any commercial attention, particularly with heirloom tomatoes, just because they're so horribly expensive. But I like to support the little mom and pop seed companies and get the seed from them. And then once I get it, I like to grow it out. Now, the thing about kale is that kale will pretty reliably reproduce. If you let anything else that's in the cabbage family go to seed around it, they can cross. For example, last year I destroyed centuries of breeding by Italian broccoli growers by allowing my kale to cross with my heirloom broccolis. I got something with really good leaves, but it didn't rock up. It didn't make that that characteristic broccoli head. But I've got, I don't know, must be 20 different kales, plus the broccoli pollution. And I don't worry about it anymore. Kale is the only thing that will actually come up in the lawn. So you can take some of this seed. For example, you can see over there in the lawn. You take some of this seed and dump it here. We'll have some kale next year. That's, of course, that also speaks to how infrequently I mow the lawn, but okay. This is another kale over here. And there's no point in trying to keep all the different, you know, one of these is a Siberian red, one of them's what they call Ragged Jack, which is was a favorite kale in Victorian times. It almost disappeared, but now you can get it all over the place, and particularly from Territorial and Seeds of Change and the Seed Savers Exchange. And again, they're real robust. You just reach in there and squeeze out the seed. Okay. broccoli's hard. The bok choy is harder, and the reason the bok choy is harder is because the birds like it so much that I have difficulty feeding them. This is a little bok choy over here, and you can see that the birds did such a job on cleaning me out of seeds that I'll get some bok choy, but it's going to be volunteers because birds are sloppy and they drop a lot of seed. And so I'm looking for the bok choy to just come up. When you save seed, you want to pick a good one. Now this one, you want to pick a really good plant. You don't want to pick the plant that just went to seed and say, well, the one that went to seed is the one I'll keep, because what happens is that you're now breeding a plant to bolt. So you don't want that one. In this case, these two specimens, I had 2 bok choys and a kale, and they were really nice, big, fat, juicy ones. And so I said, those are the ones. I'm going to let those guys go. And you can see, you get a lot of seed pods and stuff, and these we do have to do some sorting and shaking on. So let's go inside and we'll see how we clean this seed and get it nice and ready to just dry and then save.